Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fine Music. We've got a very special episode today. This is episode 527 with a very special guest, Bruce Neat. And he's got a very special list. Oh, yes, you're going to love this list. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. I'll let Bruce do it while I share screen. Go ahead, Bruce.
All right. So, my favorite public radio station, WXPN in Philly, recently compiled a list of the 885 greatest songs of the 21st century. And it was based on their listeners' votes. We were invited to submit our 10 favorite songs from the years 2000 through 2024. And those lists were the basis for their master list. You can find their results at www.xpn.org. I sent them my top 10, but before their list was released, I thought it'd be fun to compile my own list of about 100 songs I really liked from the past 25 years. So I got to work with one additional challenge. I pledged I would limit the list to one song per artist, which made it hard to leave out some songs, especially for favorite artists who might have otherwise made the list several times, like Spoon or Wilco or bands like that who were pretty prolific in this century. But it resulted in a diverse list, I think, that represents a lot of the best artists from the 21st century. And like XPN, my list had a decidedly adult alternative slant to it, but it did include a few more popular songs that were, bigger hits. A little bit later, I decided to expand the list a little bit, and it's now up to about 110 songs. I may even get a little bit bigger before I'm finally done with it. But that didn't affect the top 30. The top 30 pretty much stayed intact, the ones I already picked. And I noticed that 59 of my songs from my list made the XPN list, but none of their top three songs made my list. And only 5 of my top 10 made their list. Their top 3 were Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes, Mr. Brightside by the Killers, and The Story by Brandy Carlisle. Of course, I'm not going to discuss all 110 of the songs. I invite you to look at the whole list at your leisure. I will be posting to in the remarks section in the comments section of the Fine Music Facebook page. So instead, I'm going to look at just the top 20 and discuss them a little bit, and maybe Don and I might discuss some of the other individual songs on the list. You can find the original top 100 on my blog, which is at bneat.blogspot.com, and a slightly expanded list on Amazon Music under the playlist title Favorite Songs of the 21st Century So Far, 2000 to 2024. I'm also posting this list in the comments section, as I said. Now, when you look at the list, you'll see some numbers in bold and parentheses after some of the songs. That's the position that song reached on the XPN Top 8085 list. So if you don't see a number besides that song, then that means it didn't make it onto their list. So I'm going to go to the top 20. Song number 20, Phantom Limb by the Shins from 2007. I've been a fan of this band ever since hearing their song New Slang, aka This Song Will Change Your Life, in the film Garden State. This tune is from their 2007 album, Wincing the Night Away. And it's here simply because it's such a great song. I think James Mercer's a great songwriter and a singer, and I do like the Shins' work. Number 19, Johnny Cash is Hurt. One more thing to say about this one. This is considered by many people the greatest, if not one of the greatest cover songs of all time. Cash took Trent Reznor's Nine Inch Nails song and made it his own. Even Reznor himself says, it's Johnny's song now. It's a heartbreaking ballad, and it's so appropriate for the end, being recorded near the end of his life. It's part of the American Recordings series he did with Rick Rubin. Number 18, Poor People by Marat. Marat's a roots rock band that originated from Philly, now based in Brooklyn. The Bianco brothers, David and Sergey, founded the band, and they've collaborated with other artists like Steve Earle and Bruce Springsteen. They have a kind of a rocking style I really enjoy. This song really kind of evokes an urban scene, complete with dogs barking in backyards, and I always envisioned it as kind of a potentially a great music video with black and white shots of inner city people doing their thing, and the closing scene of the band playing the big block party with all the neighbors dancing their hearts out. The band really cooks toward the end of the song. It's a really good tune. Number 17, Happy by Pharrell Williams. It's one of the more familiar songs on the list. As a hit, it was first heard in the soundtrack to the animated film Despicable Me 2. That just danceably infectious. It's really a joyous song. I really enjoy it a lot. It gives me a smile every time I hear it. It's very simple as that. Pharrell also shows up on my list in another song, Lose Yourself to Dance. He's featured in that song by Daft Punk. Number 16, White Weather Hymnal. Another song may be familiar to a lot of folks by Fleet Foxes. It's another familiar tune. It's a lovely number with tight harmonies. It's become a bit of a winter holiday standard. I just recently saw it performed a cappella in the CBS drama series Matlock, as a matter of fact, this past Christmas season. It was a beautiful song. Number 15, If We Were Vampires by Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. Jason Isbell is formerly of Drive-By Truckers, and he's carved a successful career since going solo and forming his current band, the 400 Unit. He's a great singer-songwriter, and this may be his greatest song. It's a really beautiful, bittersweet song. It talks about love, long-term relationships, mortality, and how we may be around together for a long time, but one of these days, one of us may be gone. And if we were vampires, we wouldn't have to worry about that. It's just a very great sentimental song. Love song to his wife, I think it is. Number 14, another very familiar song, Hey Ya by Outkast. Now, I never heard this song until several years after it was a hit. And the way I first heard it was in that ingenious viral mashup that somebody did with the clips from the Charlie Brown Christmas. You haven't seen it before, you have to watch it. It's a hoot, and it's very ingeniously done. Anyways, another infectiously joyous song, and I've been a fan of it ever since. I actually even wrote a song parody of this one called Leia, which is a take on the Star Wars saga with Princess Leia, song about Princess Leia, and I just had fun just writing it. Number 13, Bass Backwards by Kurt Vile. This is another Philly-based artist. He's also a founding member of the War on Drugs. And his solo career has established him as kind of a stoner king with rambling, seemingly stream of consciousness lyrics, leisurely guitar, and kind of a generally hazy vibe. This is one of his longer rambles. You can just sit back and let this one carry you away. It's a really good song. Number 12, another familiar one, Clocks by Coldplay. And they've kind of fallen out of favor with some music fans in recent years, but the earlier stuff is still especially good. Like this standout song from their album, Rush of Blood to the Head. Number 11, Girl in the War by Josh Ritter. Josh is one of our greatest singer-songwriters, and this is, in my opinion, his greatest song, about a dialogue between a guy and his friend about being worried about his girl in the war, presumably a daughter, but could just as easily be a wife or a girlfriend, serving perhaps in combat overseas. It's got lyrics like, her eyes are like champagne, they sparkle, bubble over, in the morning all you get is rain. This song just makes me cry almost every time I hear it, and I don't even have a girl in the war. It's just a gorgeous, moving song. Okay, so moving to the top 10. Number 10, Boy with a Coin by Iron and Wine. Great song from Sam Beam, the singer-songwriter, uses his stage name Iron and Wine. Some really fine flamenco-style guitar in this one, and it's from his album The Shepherd's Dog. It's also an excellent video that features flamenco dancers. Just take a look at if you haven't seen it. And number 9, Here I Dreamt I Was an Architect by the Decemberists. Decemberists are one of my favorite bands from the new millennium. This is the first song I ever heard from them. It's still probably my favorite from their debut album, Castaways and Cutouts. Colin Malloy, their leader, writes some of the most literate, but also some of the darkest lyrics I've ever heard. Any songwriter can take words like indolent and balustrade and work them into a rock song has my undying respect. The Decemberists has several songs in the XPN Countdown, but this is the only one. This early one was overlooked for some reason. I think they the listeners focus more on the more recent stuff. I also like the early stuff a lot. And number 8, Sister Jack by Spoon. This Austin band, fronted by Britt Daniel, has been consistently excellent for the last 20 years and through 10 albums. He also did well in the XPN Countdown with 9 songs in the top 85, but this one also was overlooked. It's a straight-ahead rock tune from the Breakthrough album, Give Me Fiction, and I just really like it a lot. It slightly changes up the time signature toward the end from 4/4 to 5/4. You listen to the instrumental ending of it, it kind of gives you a little slight kick in the butt with that slight time change. It's a really good song. Number 7, Lippy Kids by Elbow. This is another band I've been a fan of since their beginnings. Their strength is in their great songwriting and Guy Garvey's emotive vocals. The song's a beautiful reminiscence of simpler times of youth. The title of the album, Build a Rocket Boys, is actually a line from this song. So I highly recommend the work of Elbow if you're not into them. Percussion Gun by White Rabbits. This is one of the songs that I probably wouldn't make the 885 because it's not a lot of people know about the White Rabbits. They're a Brooklyn-based rock band who put out 3 excellent albums before they went on indefinite hiatus in 2012. They deserve better success. They were favorites of David Letterman, who had them on the show 3 times. It's an amazing song. It's marked by propulsive double drumming most of the way through, and it's from their second album, It's Frightening, produced by Spoon's Britt Daniel, coincidentally. Number 5, Impossible Germany by Wilco. Wilco had a bunch of songs on the XPN 8085 Yet list, and this one charted the highest, number 6 on their list, and ended up being number 5 on my list. That was the closest our 2 lists came together as far as the rankings of the songs. That's from their album Sky Blue Sky. That's arguably their most gorgeous song. Has a really fine guitar solo by Nels Cline. Number 4, Sufjan Stevens, Chicago. He's an adventurous and quirky indie singer-songwriter. And his crowning achievement, in my opinion, is his 2005 concept of Illinois. It's intended to be part of a project to record an album dedicated to each of the states of the U.S. He only got through 2 albums on that project, Michigan, the one before it, and this one, before abandoning the project. But Illinois is a nearly perfect album in many ways, and this song is a centerpiece. The music from this album was the basis for a successful limited-run Broadway musical last year, as a matter of fact. Number 3, Bleeding Heart Show by the New Pornographers. This Canadian supergroup features A.C. Newman, Dan Bejar, and Nico Case, whose solo song Deep Red Bells also appears on my list. They're an immensely talented power pop band, and this track is from their album Twin Cinema. It's an inspiring anthem that starts off slowly but cranks up to a great singable chorus propelled by incredible drumming by their drummer Kurt Dahl. It's popped up several times in commercials and soundtracks over the years. Number 2, Dad's Gonna Kill Me, one of my favorite artists, Richard Thompson. Been a fan of Mr. Thompson since his Fairport convention days. His popularity as a solo artist seems to have peaked in the 80s and the 90s, but he still puts out reliably excellent albums. This track's from his 2007 album, Sweet Warrior, and it's one of his most politically pointed songs from the perspective of an American soldier in post 9/11 Iraq. Dad, by the way, is Army slang for Baghdad. It's a lyrically strong song, and it features one of his trademark killer solos at the end. So it's a really good song. And number 1, that might surprise you after seeing some of the other songs. Number 1 ends up being one of the big smashes of the century, "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele. I don't normally have time for most top 40 artists these days, but Adele's an exception. I really like her soulful delivery, her confessional lyrics, and I think she's a very effective artist. And this one is a really great, danceable song, even from her album entitled 21. So that's it. This is my totally subjective list of what my 20 favorite songs of the 21st century are. And so, Don, any comments, responses?
I'm just very impressed by the list, and it's also quite interesting to see how your list skews around their list. It's very interesting as well. You know, you're not afraid to have your own opinions. I think that's a really great quality and a critic. And interesting, just observationally, the top 10, none of the songs are from the 2020s.
Yeah,
Exact 2020s.
Yeah, it's I only really had I think about maybe 10 songs on the whole list from the 2020s. I
Oh,
think it takes a while for a song to acquire
yeah.
classic status. I
Only
think that's
four
the
years
only reason for
down. Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think it's a little heavy on the. I think probably the majority of my songs on the list, at least half the songs on the list, are from the first decade. I think I took a count at one point. I can't remember exactly how the first and second decade shook out, but there were only about 10 songs from the third decade. I mean, the third decade's not even half over yet. So
Right, not even. And
yeah,
it's yeah, it's just going to be a great list to research for people. If they're artists they don't know or
hmm
haven't looked into enough, or for a specific song. I've been taking notes. Like I know Richard Thompson's been around for a very long time,
yeah.
and so 21st Century Work, got to check it out.
Mhm.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, like I say,
Uh,
he kind of peaked in the 80s and 90s. It hasn't been XPN. He was like a darling of XPN for a while, but I think XPN's demographic has shifted a little bit in the past 10, 20 years to a younger audience, and not as many of them are as into Richard Thompson as some of the listeners used to be.
if they give it a listen, they might like
Yeah,
it. Yeah. Should I preview farther down the list, or should we leave
yeah. If
that
you
to
want to,
people that
sure.
go?
Yeah, yeah. If
Yeah,
you have any
let's go.
questions?
Take a fast look, people. 21 to 30. Oh,
uh,
Nick Cave. Yeah, David Bowie. Ooh,
Yeah, that
Ramos. Whoa.
this one I could have gone with several Nick Cave songs. I was not a big fan of Nick Cave's until Dig Lazarus Dig came out. I think that was about 10 years or so ago, which I thought was a fantastic album. I said, and I've heard the individual songs of his over the years. I said, yeah, it's pretty good, yeah, but I never really became a fan until I heard Dig Lazarus Dig. And since then, of course, he had a tragic death of his son, which really affected his music. And this is from his album in 2019 called Ghost Teen, which deals with that loss and recovering from that loss a lot. And the song Leviathan is just oh my god, it's heartbreaking. It's just really it's kind of has a glimmer of hope in it, but it's just the way he delivers it. It's just like oh my god,
As only
yeah,
Nick can do. Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Hey,
very
Nora
moving song.
Jones, too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nora Jones. Nora Jones was one of the big jazzy artists of the century. She's still going strong.
Who was her
Uh,
dad?
Ravi Shankar.
I knew you would know. See,
Yep,
that's why I
yep,
asked.
yep.
Yeah.
My Moon, My Man by Feist. I like Feist a lot, and I love the video for that. She does a video, like a dance routine on like a moving walkway in an airport in black and then it's a black and white video as I recall.
Feel
It's a
like
really
I've
good
seen that
video.
one.
Yeah,
Arcade Fire's pretty popular too, right?
yeah, and that's from the Suburbs album.
Mhm.
There are about two or three songs I could have picked from the Suburbs. That's my easily my favorite Arcade Fire album. But Rococo is just a really grand song. And the Town
Oh,
Halo by AC Newman. Now he's one of the guys from New Pornographers, and he put out a solo album back in
oh,
2004. It was really terrific. I think this was the best song from that album.
oh. Everybody knows number 32. Come on.
Yeah, Rufus Wainwright with Hallelujah. Now, a
Yeah.
lot of people say Jeff Buckley's version of Hallelujah is the best. I tend to disagree. I really like Rufus Wainwright's style, and I really like his version even better.
And this, I think it's very popular, this version by Rufus Wainwright. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there's a
yeah,
familiar name, Death Cab for Cutie.
yep, yep. You know how they got their name, right?
Yeah, what was it? It's from a song.
It's the title of an old a dog band song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's going back. Interesting.
going back a ways. Yeah,
Way back. Moby, one of my faves.
yep, yep, yep.
Oh, Paper Planes, that was such a hit. Yeah.
Yeah, so my son,
Hmm.
one of my sons said, "I'm surprised they had Paper Planes on that list because it's such a subversive song." That yeah, but it's so damn catchy.
It was catchy
Gunshots
as
and
hell.
all. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
And we have our first artist on both on my list and your list, Beach House.
Oh yeah, yeah. Beach House is great. Very laconic, laid
Yeah.
back, kind of dreamy kind of stuff. Dream pop, I guess you can call them.
But I'm still working on my list. I only have 52 on my list, so
And
I'm working on it.
we got somebody on here. I think Fred was mentioning the other day. Gary Clark Jr.
Yeah, Gary
Also
Clark Jr.,
Fred.
great guitarist.
Yeah, Yeah, this is a song from the same album I think he pulled his song from when the train pulls in, but it's got a crazy guitar solo in the last half of it. It really goes all over the place before it comes back again. It's like he's one. In
Mountains of
my mind,
Wayne.
he's one of the best guitarists since Hendrix.
Mountains of Wayne, Drive By Truckers.
Oh yeah, Drive
Bruce.
By Truckers. There are a lot of Drive By Trucker songs I could have used, but Surrender Under Protest is one of the more political songs, and I really like it. It's very
Ooh,
has a
make a
very
note of
anthemic
that.
feel to it.
Surrender Under Protest. Better check that out.
I think it's from their album called American Band.
These are some pretty famous names in the 50s here, right?
Yeah.
Alongside Bruce, you got the Black Keys, Mumford and Sons.
Now, I was surprised that Black Keys song didn't make the XP list. They had several songs on the list, but a lot of people forget this was like kind of the breakthrough song um,
Hmm.
back in 2004. And still one of their best songs, I think. Take Me to
Hey.
Church by
So they didn't
Hozier.
have the rule that you had, though. That's
What's that?
interesting. You said one per artist. They didn't have that rule, right?
Right, yeah. But what I'm saying is
Right.
they totally ignored 10 a.m. automatic, the listeners, and that send in the notes.
Oh, it's a listener list.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a listener based
Okay,
list.
gotcha.
Yeah. Of course, Falling Slowly from the movie Once. Have you seen Once? It's a great album, a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, here, Taylor Swift. There's a familiar name. I am not a
60s.
Swiftie. I am not a Swiftie by any means. I have nothing against her. I just have never gotten into her music until Folklore and Evermore came out in 2020, and they were, I think, the two best albums I heard all year. And this
I
is
would give it a listen because Bon Iver. That's why I would give it a listen.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a really nice duet with Bon Iver, yeah, and
Here's an
Panda
interesting
Bear.
choice. You
You
got
know Panda
Hans
Bear?
Zimmer. I'm very impressed. Hans
Yes,
Zimmer.
yes, I love Hans Zimmer's work, and I think his soundtrack from Inception is one of his best soundtracks. And that closing theme time just moves me every time. It's an amazing theme.
Oh, totally agree.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Los Lobos.
yeah. Los Lobos, go Los
Wow.
Lobos.
They've been around forever, but they've been great forever.
Yeah, here's another one
And
that I think Fred mentioned the other day. The public service broadcasting.
yeah.
Yeah, that's from their album called
Mhm.
"The Race for Space," which they take a lot of archival broadcast and recordings from the space race between the U.S. and the USSR. And "Go" is features the moon landing, so it's a really good song.
I
They,
gotta
they,
mention, I mean, he was working on the name there, but Tedeschi Trucks. Yeah,
yeah,
had to mention. All right, heading to the 70s, David Byrne, Elvis
yeah, and that's
Costello.
that's from American Utopia. I don't know if you've seen the stage version, the Broadway review that he did a couple years ago, but I think it's available on Disney Plus. If I'm not mistaken, still it might still be available. I wanted to see it live, but I didn't get a chance because the pandemic got in the way.
Oh,
Uh, but it was a really good. I think Spike Lee might have directed it. The movie version of his production was really good.
hmm. And Vampire Weekend, that's ringing huge bells for me. Are they very famous? They're doing the Super Bowl or something? Am I right or wrong?
I don't know if they ever did the Super Bowl. They have a new album out. They've been around for a while.
No, okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe I'm thinking of The Weekend. So that's somebody else
Yeah, you're
altogether.
probably thinking The Weekend. Yeah. These
Yeah.
guys are more. These guys are more alternative, like post punk, with
Okay.
kind of like almost kind of like a Jamaican kind of beat, even though they're all from Brooklyn.
Alabama Shakes, awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
St. Vincent, awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Radiohead, yeah.
Do you know Panther the Prince?
No,
He's a really good electronica artist. My son really likes him a lot, and this album is fantastic because he uses a lot of uses a lot of bell work in it. Everything from bell choirs to carillons and stuff like that all through it. So he mixes electronica and acoustic bells, and it's just
I gotta go
really
for
cool,
electronic.
really cool album.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna check that one. I wrote that down. Um, this is the
great.
famous fish, right?
Yep. And Radiohead, LCD Sound
Hmm.
System, Phoenix. There's Uptown Funk, another big hit.
Is that
Down
pronounced
the deep.
management?
I think
Mm,
they say MGMT.
yeah, okay.
I'm not even sure what it stands for, but there's probably my newest song on the list, "Bored" by Waxahachie. She's really up and coming artist. She has to have some Philly ties. So
That's right. I gotta write
yeah,
that down.
Waxahachie.
Waxahachie. And that's Mark Ronson, Bruno Mars. That's the one that they had a copyright thing going on with that song or something.
I don't know. I remember
Yeah,
hearing things like that.
somebody from Marvin Gaye's estate sued because the beat
Oh,
was from some Marvin Gaye song.
oh
So I
yeah, I
heard,
think I
and they
remember that.
won.
Yeah,
That's unusual. Robert Plant,
yeah, and Alison Krauss, great
Father
team.
John Misty.
Yeah,
Yeah, Florence and the Machine.
yeah. Daft Punk. There's Lizzo,
Daft
Bonnie Raitt.
Punk.
Have you heard the Bonnie Raitt song "Just Like That"? She won a Grammy for that song. I think it was last year, or the year before.
Blank. No Bon Rate, but not that song, so I got to check it out.
It's about I think she wrote it too. It's a story song about a woman who has a knock on the door one day, and this young man stands at the door and says, so and so here, I have some news for her. And she's very suspicious. She's the person he's asking for. She says, well, what do you want from her? She says, well, I got some news she might want to hear. And then he comes in to tell her that her son who passed away donated his heart, and he got the heart.
Wow,
And it's just
2022, very
yeah,
recent.
and it really is a very emotional song.
My son introduced me to Grizzly Bear.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Grizzly is pretty cool.
Yeah.
John Baptiste, I love John Baptiste ever since I started watching him on the Stephen Colbert Show, and he's really had big success now as an artist on his own.
Absolutely. Um,
Black
Los
Joe
Lonely
Lewis
Boys, is that offshoot
of Los
band?
Lobos. No, they're a
Yeah.
bunch of
Right.
brothers from Texas. Their godfather is Willie Nelson, believe it or not, and they play a lot of really good.
Whoa.
They play a lot of really good Tex-Mex stuff. I think you probably like them. Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't checked out that particular one, so I got to do it.
yeah. When the Tequila Runs Out by Dawes. Interesting thing about Dawes, I was just watching Jimmy Kimmel the other night, and two members of the band Dawes who are from the LA area. The one lost his home, the other one lost his studio in the fire. And those two artists from the band played one of their songs as the musical guest that night. Jimmy had like a special episode. He was talking about the wildfires and the victims of the wildfires and the first responders and all that. And they were on that.
Yeah, got some special concerts coming up. That's true.
Yeah.
All
Um,
right, let's round it out. Round it
yeah.
out. Here we go. Oh yeah, Lindsey Buckingham, Santana. Oh my.
Alejandro Escovedo, you know him, right?
And Alejandro Escovedo.
Yeah.
And Bon Iver made it on your list twice. Ha 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 ha.
Who's that?
Well, he was assisting Taylor Swift, but this is his song, Skinny Love. Yeah.
Oh,
So
Bon
Bon
Iver.
Iver.
Yeah. There is some
It
overlap.
works. It
Like I
works.
said, Pharrell Williams shows up twice, and then Nico Cage shows up twice. But
No,
as individual artists, there's no
yeah,
duplication.
not a problem. I find it also interesting that phosphorescent. People love phosphorescent, huh?
Uh-huh.
That's interesting to
Yeah,
know.
yeah. He just made it into the list.
Let's
He
give
made
them another
he
chance.
made he made it better on their list than on mine. He made the number 50. So, anyway, it was a lot. It took a lot of time. It was a lot of fun to put together. But it might be informative to people and entertaining to them too. I listen to it from time to time. My Amazon Music app, and I sometimes I run them in order, and sometimes I randomize them. I listen to them. And say, man, this is a good list. These are all songs I like. It's like they were tailor made for
That's the
me.
way it should be. All right. Well,
Anyway,
hey, thank you so much, Bruce, for coming on. I wanted
well,
people to see your list, and so now they will.
well, thanks for letting me
Uh,
share. I hope people can listen to some of those songs and enjoy them as much as I have.
And you're always welcome to join our show. We record on Mondays at noon. I don't know if that's
Uh,
good for you or not.
yeah, I've been catching the rebroadcasts. I think a few of them this past week, so I've been listening to
Yeah,
some of them.
we got some good people with good taste, and
Yeah. All right.
love to have you. Thank you,
Well, thanks
Bruce.
a lot. Have a good one.